Welcome to one of my very first glances at the studio, which was essentially being used as a storage closet. I saw those high ceilings and that arched doorway and thought it is perfect. I was planning for a trip to Mexico at this time, and I didn't have much space to really dive in until I returned, so I used that creative energy and excitement into crafting some art for the space. This was my very first attempt at working with plaster, and I really love the medium. I also worked on painting my door while they took time to clear out the room. And finally, just before my trip to Mexico, I could step into this blank canvas and start to envision the endless possibilities. When I returned, I got straight to work, and my mom helped me put the layout in CAD so I could kind of envision what I wanted to do in this space. So this was Valentine's Day, and Steek and I knocked out all the painting, which was such a relief. And my mom came in soon after, and I look over and she's ripping up the floor tiles, which I was just going to throw some rugs over, but it definitely ended up being worth it in the end. My nails definitely took a hit from this job though. So next I moved on to adding some little details for the shroom shop, and I just used my accent color for this. I got the stencil from Amazon and just went around the entire room for that. Now, I was completely fine just painting the concrete floors and calling it a day because I had a very modest budget for this project, and I'm talking like less than $1,000 to get her up and running. But the lovely Coco dug up some flooring for me, and that was definitely a lovely surprise. So my mom came in with all of her tools and showed me how to install the flooring. And it was honestly pretty easy. We first laid down this really thin foam membrane and then just plugged in the flooring, which just snapped together pretty easy. I loved using the saw, and we had a few interesting cuts to get through, but it all worked out in the end, and it looks great. We called it a day about halfway through and just took some time to think about the official layout and aesthetic design. I was going back and forth with a lot of different ideas, and yeah, just needed a minute to think about that. I was looking at fabric for the walls and contemplating what to do for that arched doorway. So Steek came in and we got in the rest of the flooring, which felt like another really big milestone completed. Now, if you see that thing on the wall, that long strip, that is something I was really trying to design around, but I did end up ripping it down and patching it up and repainting the wall. So that felt really good, and now it's just a clean canvas ready for my wall hangings. And this is kind of the aftermath of sanding all of the drywall. Okay, here is where we took an unexpected turn. I initially didn't want to do anything super custom in the space just because I don't know how long I'm going to be in here, but once the idea came to me, I couldn't really say no. So if you remember the plaster art canvases I was making in the beginning, I just applied that technique directly to the wall and built this cave-like structure moving into the shroom shop. And then on the back wall, I just decided to do some wallpaper. And after laying the mesh skeleton, I added plaster gauze as my next layer, and then would add layer upon layer of actual plaster to smooth it out and get rid of all of the gauze lines that you can see there. And this was a really time-consuming process because I needed to let the plaster dry after each layer, but I was really liking how it was turning out, and that really motivated me especially with my Lex Friedman in the background, kind of keeping me engaged and intellectually activated. So thank you, Lex. So this was a major marketplace score along with my IKEA Norden table that I found after scouring marketplace. We also found a great deal on baseboards through marketplace, so I felt really good about all of that. And on my golden birthday, Stieg and my dad came in for some finishing touches before my first client came in the next day. I really love how the grid wall turned out. I was really excited about that. This little wall hanging display is a Pinterest hack that I found, which is working perfectly for all of my tools. And here is the final setup as my client came in. We've got the shop set up, and I plan to have plants all in those hangers. I'm also having a lot of my friends sell their art in the shop, so it's definitely still a work in progress, but we are at least functional, and I can't wait to share my ASMR videos with all of you, so definitely stay tuned. Peace.